There we are. There you have a picture of Fernanda. She's a 44 years old by now. I just wanted to share that all of a sudden, we never know how fast she grew up. It was hard to go with her through, the early years and the school years. You face many, many difficulties, but in the end, somehow, finally and happily, you have a grown-up adult living with you, which of course needs support, and you also have to face different new challenges. And this is what I'm going to explain today. I decided to consider three main conditions: personal care, which is regarding the daily hygiene and self-grooming; the personal tidiness, sleeping patterns, and self-picking. Those are the main concerns regarding personal care that I'm facing today. Weight control, which is under the personal care, but as it is so important, I thought it was important to leave it as one subject, and safe working opportunities as well. On personal care hygiene, the difficulty is to make sure that, they go into daily routines of hygiene, like bath, the self-grooming, teeth, and so on. Usually, at the beginning, it might be important that we use a rewarding scheme, because otherwise it might be that they go to bed without taking the shower, or they just go to school without, being so neat as it should be. Personal tidiness is really a great fight against collecting. They keep everything. Every birthday, they get many presents without leaving things away. So in the end, they have no room to keep orderly and neatly everything that they have. It's a never-ending increase of everything that they have in their rooms. So perhaps using organizings with labels might help. Most of the things that I will be mentioning here, the early you start will be easier to install them as practice, because when they are the age of Fernanda, it might be difficult sometimes that you want to change the way she has arranged things, and you might have some quarrels and outbursts if you want to try to get things tighter than the way she does. Then we have the sleeping schedule. That's another very difficult task for me, because she usually, when they have a sleeping day or sleepiness or apnea, then they will switch at an active pattern into the night. And so it happens that sometimes it is 5 o'clock in the morning and she still is sitting with the TV on and sleeping, or sometimes just, moving the hands with some wood or whatever. In those cases, which is not what I've always done properly, I have to assume, it should be advisable that we don't have screens in their bedrooms. Again, it's very important that you start early, very early, to do that, because then, as it happens to me, it won't be possible to make such a limit, not to have the screens in their rooms, the TV, the mobiles, the chargers, and everything. So see if you can start when they are young to put away, not in their rooms, those elements. And then it'll be just a habit, and that's the way it goes. Also, introduce afternoon or evening walks and weekly exercising in swimming or, different types of exercises. So it might be that they get more tired when the night comes. Be consistent if you want to avoid tantrums, because also sometimes you let them do things that they're not supposed to, and then it's difficult that you make a limit on that. If they have if they have been led to do things in one way. And the self-picking is something that has been always present with her and sometimes related to conditions of anxiety or self-injury due to outbursts or tantrums. This is also something that I have been um, pressured, to face. And so the challenge again is to avoid laziness and free time. I think it's important that we keep them busy, either with classes, with extra activities, or just simple ask them to help with the tasks at home, like, setting the table or clearing the dishwasher or doing the laundry or whatever. So anything that will keep them busy and to forget about, the hands and the picking. The weight control, this is something that is on our back all the life. Needs two conditions to keep. First, the control of food intake and a balanced diet and program intensive exercise and sport care. And this control must be set at all times if possible, not only at home, but when they socialize out or in working placement, which we will deal after in short. What are the challenges? To make a rather normal life, family and social life with relatives and friends, because not usually your people close to your family and your friends are well aware of what the needs, they need to help and support to you. Keep your kitchen locked, keep your money safe. I usually wear like those small pockets where you put the mobile phone with the keys of the kitchen and with my money. And my money is never in my purse or in my wallet. So Fernanda will not find my money because it's always hanging with me. Do not leave food around at home. When you have brothers or sisters, they usually have snack bars or chocolates or sweets. And so ask them not to leave them in their bedrooms because she will start, or he'll start moving around trying to find if he or she knows that she might find them. Plan healthy family meals. This tends to be sometimes difficult because the other members feel or find very not simple that you don't leave potatoes or you don't give rice or you don't give pasta. So usually we have once a week those, and the rest of the time we just have salads and cooked vegetables and proteins. For going out and social occasions, we need to plan ahead of time what uh, the type of food and the amount of food that they will be able to take. And usually I warn Fernanda what will happen if she doesn't respect that. I'll give her the dish with whatever the food she's supposed to eat at the party or at the social occasion. And she knows that if she starts stealing food all around because no one will be in charge of looking after her all the time, I'll just have to leave, with her, go back home. I did that many times when she was younger, and that's why this time I don't need to do because she knows I will take her home and she doesn't want to go back home. So this is something that fortunately it's rather solved. But it's something that we need to do. And of course, we need to warn something that we are able to comply with. If we are far away from home or we are in one car with the whole family, most probably it won't be possible that we go home with them. So it's good that we think of a result or an output that we can comply with. And then we have to be consistent and do it if that happens. do not trade. Sometimes because we get embarrassed if they shout and they make a tantrum, a big deal about it, we start feeling uncomfortable because the relatives or the friends start feeling annoyed that you are, um, having a bad atmosphere about the party. So um, I don't think we need to trade just because of the tantrum, because then if they know that we kind of try to do whatever they want to, not to have the tantrum, then they will do it every time. So it's better that we just don't accept, don't trade on and reinforce good behavior instead. Um, and that's quite a difficult thing to do. But I would suggest that you keep very firm on that. Otherwise, it will be always a problem for you. The other thing is when they go out into a working atmosphere for the first time, because this is going to be something different from the family or the social, with friends that they're used to. A working atmosphere needs to find a safe and food intake controlled working placement so that they can assure uh, a not only the food control intake, but also a good treatment, free of sexual abuse and free of bullying or mistreatment, which you never know until your child or your girl or boy is in the working place. So in that sense, I would suggest you look better for a small working place with just a short amount of, just a few number of people, or employees, so that you can have an easier support on the needs that your son or daughter needs uh, to be under control. Also, it's advisable that you have an interview previously with the company management to share with them all the information they need to know, what are the special needs that they have to support and they have to care for and that they have to supervise. And do that interview at the beginning, maybe once a month, then every other 2 or 3 months, and finally by the first year, every other 6 months. Now my daughter has been working for 4 years in the same place this time, and I only go once a year and talk to the direct supervisor of her. But it is a social club where she goes and work and helping with the social events of that. It's from a Spanish colony, Estadio Español in Chile, and so there, everywhere, everyone knows that they can't sell Fernanda any food. So if she wants to buy an ice cream, she will ask me, Mom, can you go with me? Because otherwise they won't sell me. So I know there was a director that took the time to inform around the place what things could happen with Fernanda and what other things could not happen. She is also given tea time every afternoon, and the tea time consists of a slice of bread with avocado smash or milk, and no sweets, no cakes, no other things that she's not able to eat. Then um, find a job that complies with her skills or his skills and abilities. Usually in that first interview, you can share what things she's able to do, what things she's good at, and so they can also manage to find a good position for the child. And agree and arrange on payment management as well, because it's not advisable that they get cash as a salary. In the case of Fernanda, I open a bank account and she has a debit card, which I hold in my wallet. So whenever she needs to buy something or whenever she needs to pay something, I go with her, I give her the debit card, she pays for that, and then she gives it back to me. And I have in my cell phone a bank mail that immediately reports that it was expenditure done with a debit card. So there is no misuse, in other words, of her buying food or buying candies because she's not able to. It's so sad, but that's, the way, because when she used to have at the beginning, everything you learn every day, at the beginning, she used to keep her debit card, but then she started buying sweets and things every day. So then I took the card and now she doesn't have it. Now, also, I mentioned that before, keep a follow-up about the position performance. When you go and talk to the management, then you will be reported how, good is he or she doing in the position. And this is very important at the beginning, especially when they start working in a new atmosphere, in a new surrounding, to keep weight control with scale weekly, so that you can warn your son or daughter that if they increase weight, that job will have to be stopped because it's not healthy for them if they're not able to, keep a given healthy weight. Supervise and check pockets, purses, wallets, bedrooms, drawers, everything. Um, when you do it this consistently, then it happens that there won't be. But if you don't do it, you will find out with surprise that many times she'll, or he will keep things that she has stolen somewhere on those places. So it's good that she knows or he knows that you will be supervising. Keep control of expenditures once in a while, checking the bank records just to see that everything is in order. And of course, again, reinforce good performance and agree on a rewarding alternatives. As Patrick was saying before, it's good to talk to them and find out what would be for them worth, receiving as an award for behaving well. And as a conclusion, I think this is quite an important to support people with Prader-Willi in their major life changes. It's really of great significance. Everything should attempt to a peaceful interaction within the family members. I think this is very important. Sometimes we kind of lose, the perception on that, and that's healthy for everyone, for every member in the family, if we can achieve that. Steady daily routines without anxiety that could lead to outbursts or tantrums. A busy life with free periods of time under control to avoid chances that they get, upset or emotionally disturbed. A self-achievement feeling and a day-to-day meaningful experience. I think in all, this is what they need. And so if we, usually an adult, a normal one, will just provide, on their own that. But in this case, as parents, we have to try and support for that to be possible. A consistent and resilient parenthood. I think one of the most difficult things is to try to accompany your child along the years without going crazy sometimes. We have all faced difficult times, facing tantrums, not knowing what to do in some given cases. So you need a strong character, very proactive, and sometimes with a lot of patience. Failure, my friends, is everywhere, daily, everywhere. But don't give up. I just would like to suggest and prompt you to stay firm on your purpose and commitment to be of great help for your children. Using a reward scheme is usually more useful than punishing. At the first time, we usually tend to punish, cut things out, or avoid things. But then you realize that sometimes you get more out of a nice reward that they were expecting for. And tantrums, as I mentioned before, should never be used to achieve their goals, uh, because then you kind of leave yourself to the evil. I mean, you will be always pressured, to do things because they will make tantrums, and do not trade in spite of them. In all, when your son or daughter becomes an adult, the real responsibility as parents is to decide whether we want to live them to live an adult life, even if and have friends and have a job, even if the conditions are not that healthy for them, or if we rather keep them under a more controlled type of living, thus somehow limiting their personal fulfillment. And that's, I think, the real challenge that as parents in the adulthood all have, is to take the best choice. Each family has to know which would be the best choice. But in my personal experience, we thought to keep her living under a more controlled type of living. And she's weighing 82, which is not a wonderful weight. It's quite a lot of kilos. But she could be 100, as it used to be once when she started working. When she started working for the first time, she would eat and she would move around, because you don't know, you're starting with that life as well. Accompany her, living that experience. She would move, taking buses, metro or subway, and moving around with money. And it was a mess. And she became 120 kilos. So now she lives quite more controlled, and we have a safer condition in health. So, but this is a choice as a family, and you can see many of them. And so this is all what I can share. This is a picture of my family with my other two daughters and their families that we shared last summer all together, that it was a wonderful time. So the positive message is that we can accomplish and you can do it, but with a very resilient and responsible parental care, really. Thank you.